absolute value inequalities. Let's look at negative x is less than 5, or not negative x, absolute value of x is less than 5, and the absolute value of y is greater than 6. We'll start with x. So we're looking at absolute value of x is less than 5. What this means is that either positive or negative x needs to be less than 5. So we can write this in two ways. We can write it as positive x is less than 5, or negative x is less than 5. However, if we go ahead and divide through by -1 to get only x, we'll get x is greater than -5. So what this looks like then is -5 is less than x is less than 5. So if we look on a number line, we get all our values fall between -5 and 5. Which makes sense if you think about it, because what we're saying is that this absolute value of x, an absolute value is a way to think of your distance from 0. So our distance from 0 needs to be less than 5 units, which means we can move anywhere from 0 to 5 units to the right, or anywhere from 0 to 5 units to the left, but we can't actually move a full 5 units, and we certainly cannot move more than 5 units. So for the generalization, our first generalization down here, if the absolute value of x is less than a, what this means, we know that positive x is less than a, and that negative x is less than a, which means that x is greater than a, or greater than -a. These are the two equations you want. Another way you could write this is -a is less than x is less than a. Either way works. You either need to make sure you have both simple inequalities that I have in red here, or the complex inequality that I have in green. Whichever way is easier for you to remember, whichever way you feel more comfortable working with, write that way down and stick with it. Now let's look at y. So we have the absolute value of y is greater than 6. This means that either positive or negative y is greater than 6. So we can write y is greater than 6 or negative y is greater than 6. Again, if I divide or multiply by -1, I'll get y is less than -6. Rewriting this just to make a little more sense, to put my negative on the left side, I get y is less than -6 or y is greater than 6, which can also be written as 6 is less than y. Graphically, what this means is that my y can be any value. Shoot. Come back, Mr. Numberline. There we go. Can be any value less than -6 or any value greater than a +6. Conceptually, just like with x, absolute value of y is another way to think of the distance of y from 0. To say that the absolute value of y is greater than 6 is to say that we need to be at least 6 units away from 0. So we can either be above +6, which we see on the number line, or below -6. Either of those intervals will work for us. So to generalize this, if we have the absolute value of x is greater than a, this is the same as saying x is greater than a, or negative x is greater than a, which is the same as x is less than -a. You could also rewrite this, just flip the two inequalities so that you get x is less than -a, and then that a is less than x, which will tie more closely with your number line. Again, it's whatever makes the most sense to you. So either remember what I have in blue and red, or remember what I have all in green. Just remember one or the other.